Hello, happy belated 4th of July and Canada Day to everybody. You guys know I am an American in Canada, so I got the flags up. Hope you guys had an amazing holiday, and we definitely had a lot of fun celebrating up on the water, had the classic barbecue. So I hope you guys were safe and sound, and you guys in the States that are Americans had an amazing celebration. I did want to go ahead and let you know down below there's a couple important links. There are two sales that I know going on for Trendspider and Trade Ideas. Trendspider is 35% off and Trade Ideas is 25% off. And below that is a very important link all about Credit Suisse and their ETNs that will be delisted. So I will be bringing that up. You guys can check that link out too if you missed it. If you guys are new to my channel, thank you guys for joining me. If you go ahead and like the video, please like, give me that thumbs up, and subscribe and turn on the notifications. Hello, Roger. I'm missing my fix of the States. I am not able to cross the border except for really emergency scenarios, and then I'd have to go into 2 weeks quarantine there and 2 weeks quarantine back here. So right now, a lot of Skype and FaceTime with my family. It's a little tough at this point, even though we're just north of the US. So I hope everyone there is safe and sound. I hope that all your family members are safe. Let's go ahead and get into the watch list and the two little areas that I want to talk about. So first, I do have the Credit Suisse link up, press release June 22nd, that they are going to be delisting and suspending these ETNs. So U Gold, U Silver, D Gold, D Silver, UGAS, DGAS, ZIV, VIIX, and TVIX. So make sure you do not get caught in these when they delist. There's nothing worse than not knowing about it. One day it's there, the next day it's not. Hey Arky, hi Asif, hey Kay, Selrus from Falls City, Washington. Very cool. I did a marathon out at Puget Sound. I was #2 for the lady finishers. And I also have something very cool, this patent. Probably like, Jane, what is this? Cryptocurrency system using body activated data. And so this is all about a chip. Now this is kind of somewhat old news. This was from March 26th, but let me scroll down and show you what is cool. Microsoft is getting into the human body microchip for cryptocurrencies. So do we think that the world is going to go to cryptocurrencies? Potentially. What's it going to be tied to? You think it'll be tied to gold? Maybe. Maybe it's time to go start throwing a little bit, chump change over into a gold-backed cryptocurrency. Maybe that's where we're going to go. Not sure. But we might have that happen, and Microsoft is ready to go ahead and jump on it. So let's go ahead and get into the market. All right. We will pull it up. I do have my watch list as well. We'll pull that over while this is loading so you guys can see it. So it's right here. We've got GIS, General Mills, Solo, Semi, GNUS, Microsoft, Boeing, Fizz, Nu Skin, UMA, and AAL. The bold ones I have here, if you guys do look at it on Instagram, are going to be the ones that are less than 20 million. So those are lower floats. Those might run up or down a bit more quickly. And then the short volumes here as well. So you can get all of that later as well on Instagram. Let me move it back over to the other screen up here, and we'll go ahead and put it on our Sunday list. As always, guys, if you do have something that you want me to check out, let me know about it. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and we'll build the list really quickly over here. It is a time where the kids are with the grandparents, so precious time. That's why I'm on a little bit early today. I'm not bound by their schedule. I want to go out and enjoy life. Get out of the house because quarantine has not been the easiest with 2 little ones. How about you guys? Anybody have kids during this quarantine time that you guys have been dealing with? All right, so let's go ahead and let's pull up the SPY. So we've got the SPY right here, and this is our daily chart. I've got a couple different green lines right here. I can get rid of this one. Let's remove that. And we also have, let me turn off the View app because I don't really use the View app on here. And I'm just looking, my line here is, this is usually, for whatever reason, it didn't save as a white line. I'll make it smaller. All right, so where are we right now? We had this week of consolidation right here. In general, when we go ahead and we pull up the SPY for, let me pull it up over here, I'll find it for you guys. When we look at the seasonality of the SPY for the fall, for July, we'll go ahead and we'll see that July, typically the first 2 weeks of July is going to be right here. So the first 2 weeks from end of June to middle of July tends to be fairly bullish. So keep that in mind. So we have this first week up, then maybe this is a fourth, a little bit of a pullback, and then a secondary surge up. We go sideways, a bit of downward action in August. Many people take vacation in August before the school year, lots of traders. And then, hey, end of the summer, end of August, beginning of September, a bit sideways, and then we have that spike into September, pulls back into October. So we might see that, depends on what happens with the earnings season, but just keep that in mind. All right, so right now, yeah, we totally are following that beginning of July. Maybe it will continue up the next 2 days, and we might have a bit of a pullback. For now, we are a bit extended from the moving averages. We're still in this consolidation box right here, right? Let me move this green line here. So we are still in this consolidation box. We've got 314.41. That was a big area, but we would really need to really break 315.50 fairly strong right here, and then close that gap on up to 317, maybe all the way up to 319 here. Oh, Asif, you know what? Sometimes the house right now, we deal with it when the kids are asleep because they're constantly making a mess, but that's life, right? Life with 2 kids in quarantine, it's not the norm. This is not the norm, guys, so keep that in mind. All right, so for now, it's looking like even on the MACD, the stochastics down here, stochastics, not MACD, stochastics are looking like we're fairly bullish. If we break this, and again, 315, we could have that quick test to 317, 319. Of course, it might go ahead and do this. It might pull back and then surge up and then pull back again and then surge up maybe to 319 and then pull back. Maybe we'll even go up here. We'll test 324. Not sure. I'm not the big guy. I don't control the market, but that might be what they have in mind, and squeeze those shorts, right? We've had this big area that we went sideways. We're above it. So right now we're bullish, right? We're going to test this area right here. Yes, we could be bullish above there, right on up to the bottom of this range, 317. And let's look at the Qs, right? We're breaking all-time highs here. Well, no wonder, right? Microsoft and Apple are surging to the upside. And then we have the Russell, which tends to be the weakest. Guess what? We could still come up here and test that 200 simple moving average over at 146.67. You know what, Carlos? I really don't have that many indicators. It's a bunch of moving averages. So I do use moving averages, volume, and price action. That's it. So these, I do have some trend lines on here as well that you can see. Like now we're past these trend lines. So you know what? I'm going to go ahead and I will remove those trend lines. I don't need those anymore. I'll leave this one. Might come back down and test that. This one we might test the upside later. All right, so let's get into our first one. So this is General Mills. It does have 608 million in the float, and it's 58% short volume from Friday. What I like, drew this downward trend line. Guess what? We had earnings. We broke above this 50 simple moving average, 20 simple moving average, and broke above. Not higher than normal volume, but we did have earnings, and it's breaking that trend and it is above the trend, above the 20, above the 50, above all the moving averages. So Monday, we might see a surge up from here. If we were to look at it and potentially create the triangle right here, we might look at it and measure it and say, all right, well, here we go. We've got this to here. Maybe we're going to have $4 move. So maybe we'll look at 61. We'll be looking up at a target up here of $65. So that would be a rough target that I would have for General Mills to the upside. So let's go ahead and drag these on up. Let's look at it on a 15-minute chart, bring it in even tighter. So we want to see it go ahead and break this area. It was pretty strong. The sellers took it down. Again, they tested it. So 61.80, $62. Let's go ahead and make it 62 because it tested 62.07. And then to our downside, I want to see it hold 61. Okay. And next one is Solo. So Solo does have 34 million in the float, and it has 59% short volume from Friday. So want to see it go ahead and break 350 strong, right? It tested it, it sold off. It tested it, it sold off. There's likely sellers lined up on the level 2 there, ready to sell it off. And I would like to see it hold 310, right? Which is also coincidentally now the 50 simple moving average roughly on the 15-minute chart. We pull it back on the year. Let's go ahead and look at it even a bit further back. You can see it had another. We can move it down here. We'll move this line down. You can see it would potentially test 388, then maybe down here, 440 area, 430 area, and then on up here, 480, and then $5, potentially for Solo, if we're looking at it on the big time. But looking to hold that 310 and $3.50 to the upside. All right. Oh, I forgot to put in semi. Let's go ahead and put this in. Drag it on up here. I love this software. This is TradingView if you guys don't already know. All right, so semi, look at this cool gap to be filled. From the high here was 417. We closed just above it, higher than normal volume. Stochastics are looking like maybe we're going to go ahead and fill this up to maybe 812. That's going to be roughly 100% right there, right? That's why I like this. It's got that big gap to fill to the upside. It might be a fake out. They might pull it back a little bit, and then they might take it up higher. So want to see it break 425 strong. We'll go for that round number. In my head, that's what I would say. Oh, I want to enter at 425, or I want to sell at 425. And I want it to go ahead and hold $4, right? And when we look back here, the moving averages are starting to curl up. It's gone ahead and it's closed above our slower 8 EMA right here. We might come up and test 470, then on up to 549 as well. You can see that was almost a resistance back here as well, 560. So we might come and take a move up here, up, back, and up further, second wave up to the $6 mark, a nice 50 cents. So let's put that on watch. Again, this one does have 17 million in the float, and we are filling that gap. It might be a scenario where you're not able to get into it until a pullback because shorts might get squeezed right at open. All right, GNUS Brands International. They have some news that is due to come out on Monday. They are a software company. We have a trend line break right here, higher than normal volume. Supposed news coming out. Look at that. It stopped at a prior resistance level, and then it pulled back that $4 mark. So let's go in a little tighter. I'd like to go ahead and see it hold. I want to see it hold right here, 340, and break out above that $4 mark. All right. And this one, it's potential talks of a buyout. So, who knows? Could it be Amazon? Could it be Netflix? Could it be Disney? Don't know, but there's a lot of people that are looking for streaming content now, especially since we've gone so much to the internet world of media and everything streaming for TV. You don't really need a TV anymore. You just need internet access. The way of ABC, NBC, all that. They still create content, but there's more competing in the area. All right, Carlos is asking, do you swing trade, and is this a swing trade setup, or how do you go, how the market reacts? Carlos, you know what? I do swing trade. However, I'm going to be looking at stocks at the end of the day to enter a swing trade, not right at the beginning of the day, right? If you'd been entering and you got into GNUS down here end of the day, you could have been able to ride that up on Friday. But you don't necessarily want to get in right at the beginning because you don't know what it's going to do as a swing trade, for entry a swing trade. So end of the day is going to be better for a swing trade. Beginning of the day, better for a day trade. All right, next one, Microsoft, right? So I did show you that Microsoft news about the chip. That came out way back in March. I wish I'd seen it back in March 26th, right? That came out March 26th, patent news, boom. Where do we go from there? 155 up to 207. So gained 30% since that news came out. We do have earnings coming up in July 16th. We have a bit of a doji. It's not really too high volume, but we broke out from this high on Thursday, came up, pulled back a little bit. Could definitely see it pull back to this moving average and then continue to the upside. Oops, I did not mean to move that trend line. But we might also pull back to this yellow trend line and bounce up. If we break that, it might be a trend change right there. I like that, gotcha. All right, so I want to see it break out above 208. We tested it once here, tested it again, and it pulled back. However, look, we're still riding the moving averages up. We close below this one a bit on the 15-minute. That's the 50 simple moving average. We might come back down here. We might test down here. For what I would like to see hold as support, I'd like to see hold right here, 206. There was resistance right here and went a bit lower down to 205. Let's go bring it down to 205.50 actually, 205.60 right here. Because this looks like it was resistance, up, support, and then it bounced right away. So 205.60 for our support level and 208 for resistance. Now, Microsoft, I forgot to tell you, GNUS or Genius Brands has 84 million in the float, and it was 57% short volume on Friday with some news announcement coming out. So there's no idea of what the news announcement is. Many times it's a sell the news scenario. So we'll see what time they actually go ahead and release this news. Microsoft is 7.47 billion and 41% short volume. All right, let's get into our potential shorts. So we have Boeing. Boeing's just been nasty and beaten down. Do you guys see this pretty clear support area? It's more like a trend line right here. Let's do this. Look, right here. It's been following that trend on up. So I want to see definitely that 180.60 hold, and we have a trend line on the way down too that I see. But I want to see it break 186.50 if it were to go up. However, news came out, Boeing 737 MAX is not flying until 2021 first quarter potentially. Is that going to be good for it? No. Are they still going to have to pay the airlines for all those planes that are grounded? Likely. That's just money that they're hemorrhaging. Are they going to be able to sell the ones that they've already created of the 737 MAX, in which they've kept all their employees employed to build them? No. They're sitting on the ground. All of those Boeing 737 MAXs are sitting on the ground, so that's not necessarily a good thing. We are below the 20 simple moving average. We could come down here, test 164.60 and maybe 160 and then 158.80 down here, that 50 simple moving average. If we break that 50 simple moving average, what happened before? Look out. We might be seeing Boeing go down even into the 70s. You might say, Jane, you're crazy. Well, the chart will tell us. But right now, look at all this high volume that happened. Likely short squeeze up to 234, then potentially shorts got in, it bounced a little bit here, and now we're really in that downward trend still, right? So if I'll leave those out of it, right? We'll leave that out of our trend line because it was really just a couple days. And we're going down from here, and we've got our upward trend right there, right? Even a little bit closer, we have that one on the 15-minute chart. But if it breaks down from here, definitely likely a test of 164.20, and then I'm down. All right, so Boeing support 180.60 and 186.30, 186.40. All right, let's go to Fizz. So Fizz is low float. Be careful. It had a massive spike up after earnings, and then it closed that gap to the downside. So that super high volume is something to watch, right? Maybe this was the low float taste of the day, the little fizz drink. But if it goes ahead and it breaks down here, 62.50, I would like to see 62.50 hold as support, and for resistance to the upside if the shorts start to get squeezed. I'm going to go ahead and put up at 66. Give it that nice round dollar right here, that round dollar area, 65.99 even. All right, so you can see giving it more of a wide range because it is low float. So 62.50 for our support and 66 for resistance. Next we have Nu Skin. All right, so Nu Skin had massive volume. It opened low and it closed up here, closed up high. It did close up above a resistance area, right? But it hit this resistance here. And we've got it, this might very well have a fake out back down to the $45 range, so $3 pullback. If it does close that even further, we might come all the way down to 40.80. So definitely one to check out. This has 49.3 million in the float. So to the upside, I would look at 48.60. To the downside, I would look at 47.20 to hold as support. And you can see it acted as resistance right here, then it was sideways, and then once it broke above, it flipped and it became support. So a $1.40 range where it would be a no trade zone, and then above that, yeah, we could go up and we could test 50, right? 50, 52, and then after 52, we might see a further test up to 54. But if we break down, we'll likely come back down, test maybe 44.80, $45 mark, 44.80, and then if we close below, we might test 43.30 down to 40.80. So this one's a nice setup to watch for sure. Okay, next potential short. Again, this one, higher volume doji, fairly overextended. This has 19.8 million in the float, might be pulling back down. It went sideways on Friday, not a lot of movement. Remember, the market was fairly bullish on Friday, so the fact that it didn't have a lot of movement, somebody's laying a position to me right here all day. It's not going one way or the other. There was higher than normal volume, I believe. Let's see. Normal volume is 520,000, and this had 630, so it was a little bit higher than normal. All right, but it could very well do this. Could come here, and then we see it come down to 1750, even maybe down to 1650, and it might come back down that way as a lower float stock. All right, let's remove that. 1850. You guys have any questions? I feel like I caught you guys early today, so nobody has their questions lined up. All right, next potential short, American. So much like Boeing, American had to raise financing, right? They had to sell more securities, and as a result, they are not as strong, right? There's a reason why Warren Buffett got out of these, in my opinion. And that's probably because he knows that it's going to take longer than expected to go ahead and recover. You know, it did have that dead cat bounce, but looking at it, if we go below 1240 or above 1280, that's my area. We've got this 1250 area right where we closed on that 50 simple moving average. Below that, test down to 1170, then on down to 1080, and down to 1030, right on down here. Oh, nice, Roger. Well, welcome. I do try to do some videos outside of my weekly videos. So if there is something that you have a question about, Roger, just put it in the comments and I can try to answer it in a video so I can help everybody else. Or if you want to shoot me an email, you guys can always shoot me an email at jane@cjanetrade.com, and happy to go ahead and help to educate you there too. And I also teach in the training pit at thedarkpools.com, right there, twice a week, and we teach people about trading around the dark pools too. All right, John, I'll check that out. Let me go ahead and look at our potential long-term swing. Sorry, my nose is running. Okay, so ego, potential long-term swing here. Longer term, in my opinion. We do have the gold sector that is getting hot. What would happen if we devalue the dollar? Likely turn to metals as a consistent valuation source. So 980, if we break above 980, we could very well be moving to the upside. Look, we have this big, massive wedge here. Well, we broke it out on the 22nd of June. We've had a nice run up. We're testing this resistance right here, 980. If we do break this, very quickly 1020, likely on up to 11, 1120, and then we might even be going all the way up to 15, in my opinion, for ego in this upcoming couple of months. Another one, Nova Gold. Nova Gold, let's go ahead and drag this on over here, right? Put this here. Now we put this here, right? We had a downward trend for Nova Gold, broke it here just before earnings, and now it's in an upward channel. So we'll flip this over here, bring it over here. Gotta love TradingView, right? Makes it so easy. So here's our channel, right? And we have all this resistance right here, all these moving averages. Looks like we could very easily head on up. We tested right there. We tested the high end of it. 950 is the highest one there. We could go ahead and head on up to $10. Then after $10, 1030, 1050, 1080, and then on up to 1150 in my opinion. All right. Another potential swing. These are the swing ones that I have. So AWR, excuse me. So let's go ahead and draw our trend lines here, right? We're breaking that trend, but it might pull back a little bit more before it continues to the upside. We do have a bit of roadblocks right here, but we could come up, and if we go ahead and we break that 82.50, nice $2 move to the upside here. Above that, look, we're just going to go on up and test up to 88, probably, in my opinion. Carlos, you know what? I did learn some with Timothy Sykes, but I do look for more larger caps, and it's more the stock chart patterns for swing trading and volume, everything. The volume, the volatility, the patterns, that is the same pretty much no matter what instrument you're looking at. It's just a matter of how, in my opinion, large cap stocks are going to, how they are going to act as opposed to penny stocks. Penny stocks to me are much more manipulated, and you have to have a larger position to go ahead and make money. You can have still, if you'd had $1,000 and you bought Tesla the end of last week, you could have made 20% in 1 week. It went up to 1,200. So you can make that money trading large cap stocks, and it's minimizing the risk because you're a smaller position size, in my opinion. I don't knock him. He's good at what he does. Just didn't work for me. All right, nope, don't trade the news at all. Trade the dark pool prints. If you were to see, Carlos, a proof that somebody had traded 2.5 million shares of Facebook, and then it drops below that, wouldn't you think that was selling, right? And so you'd probably short the stock. And vice versa, if you saw 2.5 million of Facebook and it drops up, it goes above the print or that level at which that price action happened, you would say, okay, they're buying. That's what we do. We go ahead and we try to follow the really big guys. Yeah. So here for Sequence Communications, this is a semiconductor from France. right? Why am I drawing it up there? So the semiconductors are doing very well. This is testing resistance. It might pull back, but it has that chance to break out above 690. Let's go ahead and look back at 5 years. So after we break out here, we could be heading up to 860 if it can break that $7 mark fairly strong on the weekly chart. And final potential long swing is CMS Energy Corp. A lot of energy stocks right now are sort of in this trend where they're setting up for a trend breakout right here. So this one happened. If we go back to our daily chart, you can see it as well, right? It came down, popped above, came down, popped above, came down, and now it's fairly strong. If we can go ahead and break above that 61,450 area, it might have a nice move right on up to 63, and then on up to 64, and so on to the upside. Okay, I know you love Fastly, Arky. Okay, let's look at PANW. Palo Alto Networks. All right. Got a bit of this right here. Let's do it over here. Right? I would look for it to break out above that 236, John, to the upside. And let's draw this right here. Right? We're getting into this wedge right here. So if it breaks down below 227 with higher than normal volume, potential short down to the 50, and then on down to the 200 down there. If it breaks above, we could have another next wave up, maybe 260, 270 move to the upside from a break of 235. A bit of a wide cup and handle, right? If we do it like this, because it never really went below 50%. So we could see that it could just head on up. Not sure how long it would take, but it could head up potentially. All right, UNH. So UNH, let me get rid of these. So the healthcare sector, for sure, with everything going on with COVID, you know, we've seen a lot of deaths happen, unfortunately, in nursing homes just because they're more susceptible. It does look like we had a bit of a trend change here with higher volume. However, the volume is dropping. We do have earnings coming up on the 15th of July. Let's check and see if I put it here for, there's a point of control right here. Looks like maybe next potential test 306 and then 310 to the upside if it doesn't come back to 295 first. Right there. All right, and Deere, John Deere. Well, farmers, a lot of farmers are stopping farming, at least up in Vermont, the dairy farmers. So I don't know what's going on with the rest of the US, but this has hit the 200 simple moving average and it sold off, right? So that's not looking too strong. If we break below that 20 simple moving average and then back, I'd say this one has a no trading zone to me right now of, oops, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to draw a rectangle. This one really has a no trading zone to me of right here. So I'd want to see a break above that 160 or below 150. Right now it's just going sideways. It just had the dividend and it bounced up a bit from the dividend, but this one is going sideways to me. And knowing that, yes, there are a lot of people that are buying food right now, but it's so hard for farmers. Especially there's many farmers that are not able to go ahead and export their food to other countries, and that can really hinder the farmers. All right, so let's get rid of that. And Fastly. All right, Fastly. So we broke this trend. You guys see it pulled back right to those averages, came up. We're at another, let's go ahead and move this over. So we have this new trend line right here, right? It's developed because this is our new bottoms and it's bounced off of it. Inside candle right here, bit of indecision this week. If we go and look at it on our weekly chart, it's still going upwards, right? And we still have a bit more where it could pull back. So it could still pull back to that 73 range. I wouldn't even be surprised, $60 mark, and it would still be in the upward trend. It would just be a normal correction for it. So that would not be surprising to me. If it does break that 88 mark, I would look for 88 as a resistance to break out to the upside, but it could pull back to that 73.30 or even further down to 60.30 for a continuation to still be in that uptrend, just a bit of a correction because it's extended away. Yeah, no problem. My pleasure. That's why I'm here. All right, guys, have a great week ahead. Check me out on Monday and Friday on Ticker Talker TV live at 1 p.m. I do have an awesome video coming out on Friday, how to read a chart in about 5 minutes for those that are absolutely brand new. And if you have anything else that you guys would like to see in a video, go ahead and put it in the comments below. I'm going to be actually documenting my journey to getting back to running a 10K as well with an injury, sacroiliac injury. So check that out as well, and have a great week ahead. Carpe Profit. Seize those profits one trade at a time.